Welcome to Read This Next with Laura and Nicole from the Thunder Bay Public Library. Today we are doing, I'll be honest, a topic that Laura and I have had sitting in our to-do folder, I want to say for about 4 months. It's been a
Sitting there
while.
for a minute.
Yeah,
Yes.
a hot second.
We started out, it had a more narrow focus. We were going to do steampunk. And then we kind of realized there's not as many steampunk books being published anymore. There wasn't really enough that were grabbing our attention. So now we're just doing alternate history in general. And I've also seen it called fantasy history.
Oh, that I like that because it's a little bit more like there's alternate history, which is taking real world history and changing it, and then there's like changing history. It's like an alternate universe, but it's our universe.
Yeah, I feel like there's for example ones that are like it's basically the history we know, only there's magic or something,
Yeah.
and then there's like we lost World War II. Like
Yes.
I think that's like alternate history, and the other is maybe fantasy history. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we've got like a mixture of different stuff as usual.
And we've done a few of these before, so like I think we recommended one of Daniel Quinn's books, and we recommended Sarah Gailey's hippopotamus one,
Ooh, yes.
alternate
The
history.
super, oh, so good. I'll mark it. I'll put a note in the notes, because you should not miss the alternate history about hippos. Yes. You just shouldn't. It's
Hippo
hippo
ranches.
cowboys. Hippo cowboys. It's
Hippo
a
cowboys.
delight.
Yeah. Oh, and the Underground Railroad we mentioned the other day as well.
Yes, we did. So we've got a couple in the archives that we'll suggest those titles as well.
But I'm going to get started with our first rec.
Very
So
good.
the first one is Bombs Away, which is a series called The Hot War by Harry Turtledove. So I'm going to skip the first paragraph. Bombs Away begins with President Harry Truman heeding the advice of General Douglas MacArthur, whose control of the ground war in Korea has slipped disastrously away. MacArthur recognizes a stark reality. The U.S. military has been cut to the bone after victory over the Nazis, while China and the USSR have built up their forces. The only way to stop the communist surge into the Korean peninsula and save thousands of American lives is through a nuclear attack. MacArthur advocates a strike on Chinese targets in Manchuria. In actual history, Truman rejected this general's advice, but here he does not, and the miscalculations turn into a disaster when Truman fails to foresee Russia's action. So almost instantly, Stalin strikes U.S. allies in Europe and Great Britain, and as the shockwaves are settling, the two superpowers are caught in a horrifying face-off. Will they attack each other directly with nukes, and what countries will be caught in between? And it keeps going, but it sounds like it's a little bit all over the world. It's a retelling of World War II, obviously, so fascinating. I love those kind of retellings with a what would happen.
Sounds like if you're a bit of a history junkie, you might enjoy that one, seeing the different ways things play out, certain dominoes fall over and a totally different outcome.
And I've only heard good things about Harry Turtledove. When I was looking up this book, everyone's like, he's a master storyteller, so it sounds like it'll be a very good story.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I would have something about the name Turtledove. Writing like books about nuclear bombs doesn't seem quite right. But that's just me having a name bias. Not fair at all. I'm sure it's wonderful. You can tell I'm a little tired today. I was up last night with my son. So if I seem a little punchy, that'll be why.
I'll have the energy for both of us.
That's probably good. Okay. So, all right, our next one is actually a graphic novel. It's called The Thrilling Adventures of Lovelace and Babbage by Sydney Padua. And it's I think it's older now, but still delightful. It's a it's a transformation of the actual historical relationship, but this author has made it into a hilarious series of adventures. Meet Victorian London's most dynamic duo, Charles Babbage, the unrealized inventor of the computer, and his accomplice, Ada, Countess of Lovelace, the peculiar proto-programmer and daughter of Lord Byron. When Lovelace translated a description of Babbage's plans for an enormous mechanical calculating machine in 1842, she added annotations 3 times longer than the original work. Her footnotes contained the first appearance of the general computing theory 100 years before an actual computer was built. Sadly, Lovelace died of cancer a decade after publishing the paper, and Babbage never built any of his machines. However, do not despair, it literally says in the description. The thrilling adventures of Lovelace and Babbage presents a rollicking alternate reality in which Lovelace and Babbage do build the difference engine and then use it to build runaway economic models, battle the Scrooge of spelling errors. Scrooge of spelling errors. Scrooge. Scourge. Right. There's not an R at the beginning. It's at the end.
Scourge. Scourge.
Spelling errors. Explore the worldly realms of mathematics and, of course, fight crime for the sake of both London and science, complete with extensive footnotes that rival those penned by Lovelace herself, historical curiosities, and never-before-seen diagrams of Babbage's mechanical, steam-powered computer. The thrilling adventures of Lovelace and Babbage is a wonderfully whimsical, utterly unusual, and, above all, entirely irresistible work.
That sounds really cute. I love that it's a graphic novel, and I mean, we obviously already showed the cover, but the 2 main characters on it just look so expressive and cute. I can't wait to see them like animated through each page.
Oh, sorry about that beeping sound. Something noisy in the room. Don't know
Something's
what.
beeping.
Carry on. See if it happens again.
Hopefully we don't lose power.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully. All right. On to you.
On to me. Okay. The Clockwork Dagger, which is a series by Beth Cato. So, full of magic, mystery, and romance, an enchanting steampunk fantasy debut in the best-selling vein of Trudy Canavan and Gail Carriger, who I think we're mentioning in a bit.
We are.
There we go. Orphaned as a child, Octavia Leander was doomed to grow up on the streets until Miss Percival saved her and taught her to become a magician? Okay. Gifted with incredible powers, the young healer. Okay, so it sounds like maybe it's like a magic medical person.
A magic medic.
Yeah, a magician. There we go.
That's kind of fun word. Okay.
I like that. It already feels like a real word. Magician. Yeah. Gifted with incredible powers, the young healer is about to embark on her first mission, visiting suffering cities in the far reaches of the war-scarred realm. But the airship on which she is traveling is plagued by a series of strange and disturbing occurrences, including murder, and Octavia herself is threatened. This sounds like a closed room mystery.
Kind of does. It's true. It does. What? How do they describe it? Unsettling occurrences.
Strange and disturbing occurrences.
Disturbing. Okay. Yeah. I was like, I feel like you could use even stronger language to describe a murder than disturbing. But I mean, all right.
I mean, it says including murder, so maybe that's like on the bell curve. It's the last little bit. Suddenly, she is caught up in a flurry of intrigue. The dashingly attractive steward may be one of the infamous Clockwork Daggers, the Queen's spies and assassins, and her cabin mate harbors disturbing secrets. But the danger is only beginning, for Octavia discovers that the deadly conspiracy aboard the airship may reach the crown itself. Isn't Clockwork Daggers that's a series by the lady who wrote City of Bones, Glass.
Cassandra Clare.
Yes, she has Clockwork Daggers as a series, I think.
Okay. Well,
that one sounds fun.
Different one.
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds like a romp.
Yeah. It sounds just like, it sounds fantasy based and thrilling, and I mean, alternate history again. I know we keep, obviously everything on this list is alternate history. There's a dog without an owner. Oh no, it's got an owner. We're good.
Okay, good.
Just checking.
Fair enough. Okay.
Uh,
Okay, our next one is a YA title, I believe.
yeah.
Yes. And it is by an author who he's written like lots of different stuff. And he wrote one of kind of the original YA dystopians years ago, his Ugly series. But
So
this
good.
one is so good. This is his like his foray into steampunk. It's called Leviathan. Prince Alexander, would-be heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is on the run. His own people have turned on him. His title is worthless. All he has is a battle-torn war machine and a loyal crew of men. I mean, that's not nothing.
That's a
Just
lot.
saying. Yeah, not nothing. Darren Sharp is a commoner disguised as a boy in the British Air Service. She's a brilliant airman, but her secret is in constant danger of being discovered. With World War I brewing, Alec and Darren's paths cross in the most unexpected way, taking them on a fantastical around the world adventure that will change both their lives forever. And
That
that's the
sounds
first book in a series.
awesome.
Yeah, sounds like a romp. Lots of
Hmm.
fun, intrigue. Nothing wrong with a little mistaken identity sort of piece
Hmm.
there with
Hmm.
pretending to be a boy in the Air Force.
It's also interesting to me that the few, like the last one and this one, they both mention royalty, which
Mhm.
is that like a staple of steampunk? Because it feels, and I think in my rec too.
It kind of is because I feel like originally steampunk was kind of specifically a certain period of time and
Like the
also
Victorian
England.
age. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense that
Hmm.
kind of aristocracy and royalty keep popping up.
Love it. Like medieval literature, but not.
But not. Yeah.
But
And
not.
honestly, so far, many of these seem to have, well, not all, not all of them, obviously, not the first one, but many of them seem to have like a kind of fun adventure vibe, all of these as
Hmm.
well.
They're not
Yeah.
as serious as a lot of fantasy, on the run chosen one can be.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Good point.
Yeah. Okay. I think
All
this
right.
next one is a little bit more serious fantasy.
Now that we've said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Storm Dancer, by Jay Kristoff. That's the author of 13 No, it's Jay
Yes.
Asher.
You're right. Jay Kristoff.
He's got a
He is
familiar
also
name
a
though.
YA author.
Yeah.
He's certainly written some things.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
mhm.
The Shima Imperium verges on the brink of environmental collapse, an island nation once rich in tradition and myth, now decimated by clockwork industrialization and the machine worshippers of the Lotus Guild. The skies are red as blood, the land is choked with toxic pollution, and the great spirit animals that once roamed its wilds have departed forever. An impossible quest. The hunters of Shima Imperial Court are charged with their shogun to capture a thunder tiger, a legendary creature half eagle, half tiger. But any fool knows the beasts have been extinct for more than a century, and the price of failing the shogun is death. A hidden gift. Yukiko is a child. What? You sound like you. Did you have something to say?
No, I just kind of laughed at the like funny different headings that they have
Yeah.
in this
A hidden
description.
gift. Yeah. Yeah, Yukiko is a child of the Fox clan, possessed of a talent that, if discovered, would see her executed by the Lotus Guild. Accompanying her father on the Shogun's hunt, she finds herself stranded, a young woman alone in Shima's last wilderness, with only a furious, crippled thunder tiger for company. Even though she can hear his thoughts, even though she saved his life, all she knows for certain is he'd rather see her dead than help her. But together, the pair will form an indomitable friendship and rise to challenge the might of an empire. Very interesting.
Wow. That's not where I thought it was going. I was surprised.
Where did you think it was
But
going?
I I don't know. I guess I didn't expect the girl and the tiger to have a psychic connection.
No.
That was
Mm-mm.
a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and
But
then to turn around and change the empire. You're like, oh,
okay. But sorry, eagle tiger?
Thunder Tiger. but
Thunder
I
Tiger.
but it is half eagle, half tiger.
That does sound very monstrous.
It does. The interesting thing about this one is when I was doing research for Asian inspired fantasy, this one kept coming up. It's not an own voices author, so if that's something
Mhm.
you're not something that you're particular on reading, this might not be the choice for you. But it also sounds like an interesting combo of that other author who mentioned silk punk and
Right.
steampunk. I mean, obviously it can't be silk punk because it's got steampunk in it and it's not written by
Yeah.
an Asian author, but it is interesting that it's kind of a weird combo of
Kind of echoes that.
yeah, it kind of echoes the both of them in a way. But it sounds interesting.
And it is also a series.
Yes. The Lotus Wars.
Okay. Our next one is an author who she was already mentioned as like a read alike for another one that we've mentioned. And she has multiple series. I think I want to say like three, maybe even four. So this is her most recent series. It's called The Custard Protocol. She has,
Love it.
yeah, she has great names. And the character in the book the book itself is called Prudence. Set in the world of the Parasol Protectorate, which was her first series. Again, as I said, great names. When Prudence Alessandra Macon Acaldema, Rue to her friends, is given an unexpected dirigible, she does what any sensible female would do under similar circumstances, names it the spotted custard and floats to India in pursuit of the perfect cup of tea. But India has more than just tea on offer. Rue stumbles upon a plot involving local dissidents, a kidnapped brigadier's wife, and some awfully familial Scottish familial. I'm real tired. My
Power through. You
apologies.
got
I
this.
will keep going. That's it's an explanation. It's an explanation for my even more than usual um issues with
Mistakes,
pronunciation.
blunders.
Yeah. Okay. Rue stumbles upon a plot involving local dissidents, a kidnapped brigadier's wife, and some awfully familiar, not familial, Scottish werewolves.
Nice.
Faced with a dire crisis and an embarrassing lack of bloomers, what else is a young lady of good breeding to do but turn meta-natural and find out everyone's secrets, even thousand-year-old fuzzy ones?
Love it. What does meta natural mean?
I'm assuming some kind of supernatural skills. If she's,
Meta. Hmm, probably. Um,
I don't know why you wouldn't just call it supernatural. Why
yeah, like
meta-natural specifically? But
maybe are the creatures made partly of metal? Like, is that
I don't
maybe?
think so.
Well, then what the hey? I can't
I don't
explain it. But
don't know.
metals all around. Custard protocol, amazing.
I'm sure that it will be explained in the book. But yeah, fun. She's fairly well known, lots of bestsellers. There's some romance, there's like obviously the alternate history steampunk, and then there's also all supernatural stuff, as in werewolves and other various supernatural creatures. So if you're interested in any of those different things, they're all like mixed together in a funny, kind of frothy concoction
Love
in
it.
Gail Carriger's books. So might be worth checking out.
And this one is available on Cloud Library, but not in our actual collection. I think it's the
Prudence?
only one missing. I think.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps someone ordered it and they liked it so much that
Yeah.
it hadn't yet returned.
It is there
Um,
though on Cloud Library. So if you want to read an ebook, it's available.
very good.
The last highlight that we're going to do is called The Gown, a novel of the royal wedding. The description of this one's pretty long, so bear with me. It's by Jennifer Robson. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because my child is crying.
Oh no.
He's okay. He's with his dad, but if you hear that in the background, he was also up all night, obviously, which is why I was up all night. So the
He's
both of
just as
us are
tired as
tired.
you. Aw,
We're just both tired. Anyway, just wanted to preemptively disrupt rather than midway through you read. So carry
absolutely.
on.
Sounds good. Here we go. London, 1947. Besieged by the harshest winter in living memory, burdened by onerous shortages and rationing, the people of post war Britain are enduring lives of quiet desperation despite their nation's recent victory. Among them are Anne Hughes and Miriam Dassin, embroiderers at the famed Mayfair fashion house of Norman Hartnell. Together they forge an unlikely friendship, but their nascent hopes for a brighter future, are tested when they are chosen for a once in a lifetime honor, taking part in the creation of Princess Elizabeth's wedding gown. Toronto, 2016. More than a half a century later, Heather Mackenzie seeks to unravel the mystery of a set of embroidered flowers, a legacy from her late grandmother. How did her beloved Nan, a woman who never spoke of her old life in Britain, come to possess the priceless embroideries that so closely resemble the motifs on the stunning gown worn by Queen Elizabeth II at her wedding almost 70 years before? And what was her Nan's connection to the celebrated textile artist and Holocaust survivor Miriam Dassin? So Jennifer Robson takes us inside the workrooms where one of the most famous wedding gowns in history was created. Balancing behind-the-scenes details with a sweeping portrait of society left reeling by the calamitous cost of victory, she introduces readers to three unforgettable heroines, their points of view alternating and intersecting through its pages, whose lives are woven together by the pain of survival, the bonds of friendship, and the redemptive power of love. Fascinating. So, like, you're muted. I think that's our first "you're muted" moment.
Yeah, I'd done that because of the crying child. But he has quieted down now, so I can talk now. Um, I I think like when I think of alternate history, I don't think of this kind of smaller scale. But you know, it is also extremely valid, and there's tons of books like this. A lot of historical fiction that they kind of start working off of one actual event and then just piecing out a whole potential, what could have happened around them. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of like ancestry and family history in this one, which would
Yes.
be, if you're interested in ancestry, pretty cool. See how she goes about figuring that out. Because I can't even imagine where you would start with figuring out how your grandma had those flowers.
Now, we don't know, or I don't know, but we do have people who could help at the library, and we do have access to Ancestry online at home. Go to our website to learn more.
Yeah.
Little mid-episode promo there.
Yeah, tvpl.ca. There you go.
There you go.
Like digital library. All right, let's head into our recs. Do you want me to go or you first?
I can go.
All right.
All right. So mine is a YA book, and I read it a while ago. It's an older one, but I liked it so much I actually went and bought it after I read it, which I don't do all the time. And it is a standalone. And I remember being annoyed at the time because I'd read so many series books, and I was like, why is it the book that I actually want to read more of is only a one-off?
Frustrating.
How annoying. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the book. It's called The Friday Society, by Adrienne Kress, an action-packed tale of gowns, guys, and guns.
Yes.
Yes. Set in turn-of-the-century London, The Friday Society follows the stories of three very intelligent and talented young women, all of whom are assistants to powerful men. Cora, lab assistant, Michiko, Japanese fight assistant, and Nellie, magician's assistant. The three young women's lives become inexorably, oh boy, is that
Inexorably.
right? Inexorably intertwined after a chance meeting at a ball that ends with the discovery of a murdered mystery man. It's up to these three in their own charming but bold way. Seems like a funny descriptor, but all right, to solve the murder and the crimes they believe may be connected to it without calling too much attention to themselves. Set in the past, but with a modern, irreverent flair, the steampunk whodunit introduces three unforgettable and very ladylike, well, relatively ladylike heroines poised for more dangerous adventures, which don't happen. As I said, it's just a one-off. But it's
Dang.
just, I remember like the reason I liked it so much was the friendship between the three girls was so great. Just like,
Oh.
yeah, just like really, they all have such different backgrounds, and it's called the Friday Society because of the, Robinson Crusoe.
Classic.
Everyone has his Friday assistant who he no, okay, well, that's what when he meets someone on his deserted island, because this is like a terrible colonials narrative, rather than giving the person a name, he calls him Friday because that's the day that he met him on. Kind of gross. Anyway, they use that like assistant, the name Friday, and so they're the Friday Society because they're kind of like the backup assistants.
Oh, that's
But
what Tony
yeah,
Stark called one of his.
what's that?
Friday. Tony Stark called one of his AI Friday, didn't they?
He did. It's true.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I imagine most people, possibly including Tony Stark, don't really think about what that means, that naming origin. It's
Probably not.
pretty gross. I mean, Tony Stark is pretty thoughtful, but
Controversial.
controversial. Oh
Ah,
my. Well, someday
his
we'll talk about
beginnings.
Marvel. It's true. It's true. Yes, that's very true. What was I talking about? Oh, this book. Okay, so it was good. I really enjoyed it. Fun mystery, great female friendship vibe. Highly enjoyable.
Good. The
All
cover
right.
looks like I would want to read this. Based on the cover, I would read this.
I feel like the description is dated in a weird way. Like I feel like if it came out now, they wouldn't be like, oh, they're very ladylike, they're bold, blah blah blah. Like they would word it differently.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, which is an interesting thing. You don't really think about descriptions becoming dated, but I feel like that one is a little.
that's so strange. When did
Yeah.
it come out?
Mm, I want to say
Like
like, I
last
don't
five
know, 10
years?
years ago or
10
something.
years. Okay, that makes sense. That was probably during peak steampunk.
2012. Yeah. Wow. Like exactly, almost exactly 10 years.
Nailed
Yeah.
it.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine is a little spicy, so heads up if you want to read a little bit of a spice. Not like super spicy or anything, but it's called The Golden Spider by Anne Renwick. I read this a few months ago. Like, this is how long we've been preparing for this episode. I read this months ago. So I'll read you the description.
Mhm.
London papers scream of dirigible attacks, kraken swarms, and lung-clogging sulphurous fogs, but a rash of Roma murders barely rates mention. Lady Amanda is tired of having both her intelligence and her work dismissed. After blackmailing her way into medical school, she catches the eye of her anatomy professor from the moment she walks into his lecture hall. Is he interested in her, or only her invention, a clockwork spider that can spin artificial nerves? Lord Thornton, a prominent neurobiologist, has been betrayed. Secret government technology has been stolen from his laboratory, and a foreign spy is attempting to perfect it via a grisly procedure using Romas as test subjects. The last
Uh,
thing, yeah, it's basically the idea that in this society, which is gross, they're the kind of people that, and they acknowledge this, that the government and the crown doesn't see. So
yeah.
it's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good. But they've been using the Roma as test subjects. The last thing he needs is the distraction of a beautiful and brilliant new student, even if her spider could heal a deteriorating personal injury, until her device is stolen and used in the latest murder. Lord Thornton has no option but to bring her into his laboratory as well as the investigation where they fight their growing yet forbidden attraction. Bodies accumulate and fragile bonds are tested as they race across London trying to catch the spy before it's too late. Really good. And basically she's like been working on this little device that's a spider, and her brother, I think, has some sort of injury where he needs a new limb, I think it is, and she's trying to make it so like it'll actually be a
Actually.
Yeah, like Star Wars movable limb kind of
Fully
thing.
integrated. Yeah.
Yeah, so that gets stolen. It's a little spicy. They gotta work together. And there's like drama because like she's a student, he's a teacher, and he's like respectfully being like, I can't do that, which are you're like, yes, thank you. And very good. And I think the next one follows a different set of people, which is why I didn't continue reading because I was like, I'm done. But very good. Very good. It was a fun book. I wouldn't say like it was a great novel, but it was fun. I liked reading it. Good beach read.
Sometimes that's what you want,
Yeah.
fun, something fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are our recommendations and our highlights for alternate history / mostly steampunk.
Yeah, yeah, mostly. Yep.
Is what it is. And with that being said, unless you have something to add, I will wrap us up.
I do not wrap away.
Okay, this is our third last episode before our break. And also this summer we're going to be releasing old episodes on podcast platforms because they've only been on YouTube for now. So keep following. We'll be back in September. And if you follow over the summer and listen in, you'll know when we're back because you'll just be right along with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave us a review on the podcast app that you are using because we will read them and we'll feel so loved and it'll help other people find our podcast. And with that being said, find our notes at www.tbplofftheshelf.com and we will see you all next week.